You know what makes me sad? That you go through Krau's whole thing, his whole side story, and Tenebria's in the banner with him, but she has nothing to do with the side story. Damn, they did my girl dirty. What is going on, guys? It is time to go over Tenebria, do the lovely Tenebria guide. She is honestly one of my favorite characters in the game, just because of the fact that she is super powerful, but she's like playful. She's like doing this out of boredom. Like, so it's just like, oh, you know, it's just so easy being this strong. And she, you know, she's one of the acolytes. Sorry, I've been playing too much Shadowverse. But yeah, she's one of the stronger people. She's right up there with Kayron. And she is a mage, and I feel like mages are one of the most underrepresented character types in this game because no one knows what to do with them. It's like do we just build all of them damage? Because, you know, like the thieves are like kind of like that. You just build them all damage. It's like, oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, most of them work like that. But this is a mage where you definitely did that. You built their damage and you were fine. So one thing I want to go over, and I kind of messed this up on Krau's, is that I want to go over the base stats because it's kind of important to note that she does have 104 speed, and we'll see why that's important, obviously, because of her S3. All right, so first up, we have the Dark Explosion. Attacks with an explosion of dark energy with a 25% chance to put them to sleep. I had no idea that existed. I thought, wow. This is funny because I had thought before that when she put people to sleep is because she was on like set her in, but no, it's actually part of her skill because she does with, you know, nightmares and illusions. When an enemy is put to sleep, the caster's combat readiness increases by 50%. The skill does not trigger a dual attack. God, that sucks. Guide over. Guide over. I'm just kidding. But the thing about that is that she is very, 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 very strong, so it makes sense that, you know, it doesn't counter a dual attack, but I think that's only when an enemy is that's actually how, oh my god. Guide over. Just kidding again, sorry. But as you can see, the chance to make it go sleep, to make them go sleep does go up. You can bring it up to 35. My math is terrible. Bring it up to 35 chance, and which is pretty good on a S1 to pretty much stun, to disable a target, and she can go around and hitting a bunch of people. And then if they're put to sleep by other means, but there currently aren't any other means, there are no other character that puts people to sleep except of her, and I think you know, that character you never use. Yeah, she puts people to sleep too. There are probably more. I think that one of the homunculus do it as well, but there's not that many, so she's pretty much relying on herself to do this and then get yourself to combat readiness. I think they should change this. It's not that good, but yeah, so you're pretty much going to be leaving that alone because the combat readiness doesn't increase with the skill enhance. So pretty much this is going to be your last option as far as leveling up, right? But that's not where she's important. S2 Omninus Thunder is going to be her second skill, and it does decrease all of the enemy's combat readiness, and you can actually get it up to 30% and the damage increase. This is really good attack. It does a lot of damage, and it increases everyone's combat readiness, giving her and her homeboys and homegirls extra turns. And cooldown's low. 3-turn cooldown. It gives her 2 souls as well. You can't lower the cooldown any further, which would be busted, but hey, at least that's there, right? Last but not least, you have the Nightmare. Drops the Moon of Nightmare on all enemies. Has a 60% chance to decrease defense for 2 turns and increases attack. That's definitely a buff that she must have got because she didn't get an attack buff after that. Now you can get this up to 75%, lower the cooldown to 5 turns, and increase the damage only twice, which kind of sucks. But the reason why she is the way she is that she is pretty much a character that is more set up to help others. And I think that's the problem with a lot of the mages in the game, is that a lot of them aren't standalone gods. And that's what a lot of people look forward to when they look at Kisei. They look at all of them. Look at Violet. They look at so many of these characters and a lot of the warriors in the game, and they just do so well by themselves. But when you give a character like Tenebria and you look at her skills and you're like, what do I use her for? I can't sleep a boss. What the heck is the point of that? You know, increasing combat readiness is okay, but 20% is ridiculously low. And, you know, I have to invest Molagora to get this up to 30. And bam, and then I get this, and it's like 75% chance when there are characters that have no chance, which means like I don't mean no chance, but like they don't have a percentage. That means it's gonna happen if they pass the resistance check. So what am I supposed to do with this character? And essentially most of the time it's gonna come down to speed. Make her as fast as possible. Make her as fast as possible, S3, and then you S2, and then you just kind of like hope that you get some sleeps every now and then. But that's kind of what she's used for, and she's more used for the fact that she has 2 AoEs. So of course when we get into the artifacts, that's gonna present more of a problem, but of course let's look at the skills. All right,
you may try to defy me.
S1. See if we can get a sleep.
Immature. Oh my, how cute.
Her voice is really there's no way you would think that this is an evil character. That's what's so cool about her.
You may try to defy me.
All right, I can't get to sleep because these things have a billion resistance. Let's see the S2.
Cute. I want to torment you.
Oh.
Immature. Weep and wail.
I love that
try
one.
to defy me.
So, and that's just to show you, like, if you guys have seen my other guides, right? The fact that this is 25% says it's so low, it's hard to see how often this even triggers. It's not triggering, even though I've done this a couple times, right? Still not triggering.
Oh my,
so we're gonna see, obviously, once we hit the 60, that we're very more likely to get the thing. So her, like I said, her S1 is definitely not going to be what you want to level up. You're gonna want to level the S3 first, and let's look at it.
Now it's time to go to sleep.
Look at that.
Immature.
You can soul burn this, obviously, to increase the damage. That's if you're having you must have a really good Tenebria if you're gonna be like, oh, I'm going to soul burn this and possibly get the dub. And we'll see why she actually could be able to do that on turn 1, which is really good. So yeah, she's pretty good. And now she has the 2-turn thing here. It would be nice if they actually stack this more, maybe give something else to this, and then give this the combat readiness decrease. She would actually be a monster if that was. Then you can go first, defense break everyone, lower their combat readiness, and she would be, woo, that'd be crazy. Or if the S2 did something similar to a character named Roman does, which he has stuff that decreases their combat readiness and increases his. That would have been a really good way to twist this into the favor of her. Let's look at it one more time, and then we'll get out of here.
A nightmare, especially for you.
Gorgeous.
You may try to defy me.
Or if they have it that if the character has a debuff, then she will be able to, the sleep would have a higher chance to land. That would be another good one. But it's like, dang. No sleeps.
Immature.
I am immature, I'm sorry. But before we go to artifacts, I completely forgot about gear. I did say that you want to have her fast, right? Now she does do damage. Oops. Wrong button. Tummy button. Oh god. Okay, we don't want to click that ever again. She does do damage, so don't get mistaken by some of this stuff, and you really can't see the multipliers, but she does do a lot of damage. So, but you do want her to kind of go first. That's where she really shines. AoE defense breaking in arena, and then your team follows up on that. So you do want to still rune speed. Speed is still important. If you can get a bunch of speed substats, then let's see if she awakens into some speed too. No, she doesn't. She just has a good amount of attack. So what you would still want to do there, as I'm saying, is that you want to rune her with speed. You can also, if you can't get speed, then just make her hit like a truck. One of the two. If you're not using her as a fast turn 1, turn 2 debuffer, then you need her to hit like a truck. Pick one of the two. That's your only options here. Her even being on counter, definitely not a counter character, not a dual attack character. Her S1 is not strong enough to really support that. You could go Rage. Rage does more damage if they have debuffs. You're going to run her in a comp that is going to complement that. So either she has debuffs, or your other teammates are going to put debuffs that is going to allow her to really do this. Or they have long debuffs, like certain characters put several debuffs and then she can go. This was also good if you have like Lidika's pretty good, because she will go, Lidika's speed is ridiculous, and then she can go, she puts a speed debuff on them, and then boom. Same thing with if you run her with Silk and have this really fast comp, then boom, Silk goes, AoE puts speed decrease on everyone, then she goes and she'll do a decent amount of damage plus defense break them after that, and then you might have another fast character to clean it up. The problem is that I feel like for most people, they want the cleanup character. They want a cleanup character. They want that character to only run one of those and just set it up. She is still a setup character, so that's just where she kind of falters a little bit. If we have to go about what's good about her, it's going to be the artifacts, and that's where I think all the mages really shine. All the mages shine when you consider their artifacts and the fact that they have some of the better ones in the game. Alright, let's go straight into the artifacts. There's not much, like I said, to talk about when it comes down to the gear setup, but when we go to the artifacts, like I said, this is really where the mages, the whole mage class, starts to shine. And we're going to start off with the Abyssal Crown. The reason why the Abyssal Crown is good is because it allows you to add an additional debuff to your attacks. 12% is pretty low. It is a 5-star artifact, so it's very likely that it's going to stay on a low level. But if you happen to get enough of them and you max it out, 24% chance to stun is really good on your attacks. She has 2 AoEs, and keep that in mind, obviously, when we get down to the Seraph. But yes, it is really good. It's definitely one of the ones that you want to consider when it comes down to having, if you have it, definitely want to use that one. This is one of the good ones. Edica's Scepter is another really good one. 25% chance to decrease skill cooldowns by an additional turn, and then of course going up to 50. This allows a mage to spam their skills. Her S2 and S3 are her claim to fame, so you don't want to be sitting there S1ing as much. And since this does allow you to get those S2 and S3s up more quickly, it's obviously going to be a really good one. This is good on any mage that are all about their cooldowns, all about their skill 2 and 3s, and that's a lot of them. Time Matter is probably one of the weirdest artifacts. It's written really weirdly, but it makes somewhat sense. Let me try to make sense of it. Reduce the skill cooldown by 1 turn when an enemy is killed and increases the damage of the next attack by 18%. Can only be activated once per skill. Now, this is specifically why if you ever want to run this on a mage, they cannot be on counter, because you probably don't want your S1 being the thing that gets increased damage. You probably want your S2 or your S3 your next turn for that to happen. So you get a kill, and then your next skill after that will do a lot of damage. I mean, there are characters where, you know, I guess the S1, if we have to talk about, like Challenger Domino would be a good example of that. But when it comes down to this, you want to get like a kill with the S2. If we're talking about Tenebria, get a kill with the S2 after you S3 because their defense broken. S2 lowers your skill cooldown, and then maybe you can get an S3. It's very situational, but it's still a good artifact, and it's definitely on a powered up character. It's on a character that is doing a lot of damage, and now their next skill, I would actually recommend a lifesteal-ish kind of character that has this, someone that can maybe like survive and to get that second turn. But mages are notoriously squishy, Tenebria being especially squishy, so good luck getting that next turn. There are probably a little bit better options, but it's not that bad to have. Chatty does not exist in our game currently. You can't get it, so yeah. It would be phenomenal though if Chatty did exist. It would actually allow mages to sustain, because they would get a barrier based on their attack. If it ever comes into the game, this is the only reason why I'm mentioning it, definitely put it on your character. It's actually for a 5-star artifact outside of the other ones. This one's really good. I think the Edica Scepter is really good. Time Matters is okay-ish. The other one with that gets the stun is okay. This one would be definitely 100% on a character if you have it, because it just allows them to get a huge shield. Look at Ludwig when you want to think of a shield that scales off attack, and how easy it is to utilize something like that on a heavy DPS unit. Teg-Jehel's Ancient Book. Now this one is a good one. This allows her specifically to actually S3 with a soul burn with little investment, and I say little as in none. It only costs 10 souls to soul burn her S3. If you have her fast enough with enough DPS, that is going to chunk a lot. And that is the beauty of this. Or obviously you could put it on a character, have somebody else in the team that can utilize this as well. Now, if you max it out, you can then give 20, and there are a lot of characters that you can give their soul burn for their first turn, which is very strong. This is a team comp base thing, so just keep that in mind. Kalalja. This one's obviously really good. If they are debuffed, you will do more damage. This is the same thought process of the rage set, that someone else is going to be going before her, and she will then be able to hit and then would increase damage. It's actually something that you would want her to go. I mean, the defense buffs might still be up after her S3. She would still need to be fast enough to S3, get another turn, and then S2, and then the S2 would take them out with increased damage. It's a little bit hard. You're obviously looking for someone else to put some type of debuff on them, then you come with Tenebria and then sweep them out. Not the easiest thing to do, but it is an option. Citadin is probably the bread and butter of every AoE based mage. It just allows them to have more utility for pretty much no reason. 50% chance or 25, but you're gonna probably eventually get it up to 50 to inflict a random debuff when attacking. Any character that has AoE, this is amazing because AoE you can randomly put defense down, decrease attack down, decrease hit chance, silence, sleep, poison. Silence and sleep are probably the biggest ones. If you randomly put silence on one of your characters, well, oh, not one of yours, but you put on the enemy team and then all of a sudden they can't do anything. If they get put to sleep, all of a sudden they can't do anything. Bam. It'd be great if her S1 worked like that. Like it's crazy that this has a higher chance to put sleep on a target than her actual S1 does. And even the base is the base, but once you max it out, it's a little bit better. But it gives her a lot more utility. It gives any mage more utility. Anytime we talk about a mage, this is probably going to be one of the artifacts that are always going to be up for discussion if it should be on the character. And normally it's going to be yes if you have nothing better. I should be more specific, not as much if you don't have anything better, but it's one of the better ones. Next up is Ayla's Violin, or Ayla's. I don't even know what it's obviously a capital I, so whatever. That's not what you guys are here. 40% chance to dispel one buff from the enemy after attacking. This is really good. It would be great if it as the attack landed, but I think that'd be a nightmare to program. So you attack them, and then after the attack goes through, you have a chance to take a buff off of them. Going up to 80% is actually really nice. You can effectively become a stripper, allowing any character to become a stripper. Now, as we know, Tenebria has 2 AoE attacks. That's two chances AoE at an 80% chance to take a buff off. So that is pretty good for her. Again, it's one of those things that you probably would like one of the other ones if you're trying to do that. But if you just have her in there, you have this one, you rather have something else, I think that it's not that bad. Radiant Forever. This is giving her some PvE viability. It's actually really good. She has 2 attacks that hit everyone, and she'll just do more damage to bosses and elite monsters. You very likely still won't be using her in a PvE because her S1 can't sleep. Her S2 does decrease combat readiness, not by a lot though. And then of course her S3 does defense break, but in most PvEs, you know, unless you're trying to do some type of nuke strat, you're gonna need another DPS that can take advantage of that. And then you have 2 DPSs, and then you're gonna have your healer is gonna be on full time. And since there's only about 2 characters that revive, it's gonna be hard to have her on this, unless you know that 50% probably does a lot if you farm this. This was through a challenge event, so if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. I would give it a try, but I would make no promises how good it is. 3-star artifacts is going to be a little bit of hard sell. Curse Compass is good if you want her as the person that goes first, then you can have her go first and get that extra effectiveness boost to get the AoE defense break. Exorcist Tonfa is going to be pretty good if you, again, she's going to be going first, so the enemy's health will be at a certain amount. They'll be full health, duh, and then she'll do more damage since they have full health. I also kind of like Sword of the Morning just because as she gets hit, she's going to take a lot of damage. She doesn't have that much HP. She's not a, you know, bruiser kind of character, so she'll get more attack and speed, giving her the chance to have more turns and then return the damage in favor. That's pretty much for our nice little girl. If you guys think I missed anything, please let me know in the comments section below. I think we did a good job. Like I said, I think she's a okay character. I think that she's not something that you would necessarily want to summon for. I do think that if you happen to get her, that you're going to be running some type of speed or heavy def DPS kind of on her. Up to you, but I do think that you can probably get with some other mages in the game and be doing a lot better. She does need a rework, just like her dark version. Her Spectre Tenebria, you want a guide? Oh baby, now that's a monster. Now that's a monster of a character. They changed her, and I wish that they would give her Tenebria, the regular one, some of those buffs as well. At the moment, she's just not there. If you liked it, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next guide. Peace.